Hello, 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 everyone. How are all of you? Hopefully, you're all doing well. So, we're going to be doing some more MSQ work here on stormblood patches. Or at least that's my plan. I think we are. Yeah, we're in 4.3. I think we're doing them as Reaper. Yeah, that's what we were doing them as. If I can figure out which one Reaper is. Nope, that's Sage. Reaper's this one. Gosetsu and Suya. Ah, illusion, impeccable timing. We have just received a letter from Lord Heen. He writes that the Domans are coordinating their efforts with the Blue Kojin to maintain a constant watch over the Red. By staying on the lookout for signs of crystal hoarding and the like, they mean to nip any summoning attempts in the bud, thereby satisfying the conditions for peace set down by the ambassador. For the Garlean's part, the Populares have sent word that a vessel bearing Doman conscripts is soon to arrive in Yanxia. It would seem that the prisoner exchange is to proceed as planned. Lord Heen requests your presence, and I share his view that you should be on hand at this critical juncture. According to the letter, Yatsuo's memory has yet to return. So it looks like she'll be living out the rest of her days in Doma, assuming the ambassador means to honor the agreement, of course. Before we get to that, however, I think would be wise to assess her condition one last time. If the Domans have missed any changes in her mental state, however slight, it would be better if Asahi weren't the one to spot it. Agreed, let us make straight ways for the Enclave, then. Lord Heen will be waiting. I trust you will cope in our absence, Tataru. Don't worry about me, I'll be fine. Just be sure to come back safely. Teleport to the Doman Enclave is what it looks like is where I need to go. Lord Heen is expecting you. May I show you in? Ah, I see my letter reached you across the Ruby Sea. Thank you for coming so swiftly. Though I wrote at some length on the subject of the forthcoming exchange, there was one matter I neglected to mention. It concerns Gosetsu. As you may have observed, he returned from his ordeal rather the worse for wear, and despite his best efforts to conceal his condition, or perhaps because of them, he recently collapsed. Good gods, is he all right? Confined to bed and grumbling without cease, but he has shown signs of recovery. He made me promise not to tell you lest you worry unduly, which was all very well when you weren't here. Now that you are, however, I think it is high time he received some visitors. Might you spare him a moment? Yatsua has scarce left his side, and I imagine you are curious to see what has become of her as well. We'll visit him at once. Illusion, Alice, shall we? Well, I don't think whether you care for it or not, I think that's exactly what's going to happen. They make a convincing pair, do they not? On first acquaintance, I would think him a doting grandsire and her a model grandchild. Indeed, had someone told me a year ago that I would have lived to bear witness to such a scene, I would have declared them mad. That aside, I'm relieved to see Gosetsu has lost none of his spirit. Hey, North, how are you? But what a turn of events. I mean, for her to suddenly be watching over him, you couldn't make it up. Although I suppose Gosetsu's an old man. With the way he charges through life, it can be easy to forget. Aye, he has resisted decrepitude with the same defiance he showed the enemies of Doma. But no matter how adamant his will, no man can carry on forever. He has pushed himself beyond the limits of endurance too many times. Even if his health returns, the fact remains he will never again be the warrior he once was. He has given his all for liege and land, and we will ask no more. And what of his nurse? If Yatsu is feigning that, well, she certainly has me fooled. This is no pretense. Yugiri, out of all of us, I would think you the hardest to convince, so what makes you so sure? I have been spying on Yatsu from the shadows, waiting for the misstep that would betray her charade for what it was. But her mask has never slipped, not once. She has remained in character from the first. One evening I watched her as she sat in her chambers, unguarded and alone. She had taken the dishes from the cupboard and was pretending to prepare dinner right there on the tatami. A child's game. Even the wariest shinobi would not go to such length. I can but conclude that her mind is truly broken. Well, that's good enough for me and everyone else, I would hazard. Aye, the matter is settled. Yatsu will become Suya and begin a new life here in Doma. Before that can happen, however, we will need to present her to the ambassador one last time, to prove that her memory is truly gone. But I would not risk parading her in front of our returning conscripts. Her presence at the exchange would only stir up mutinous thoughts. Understandably, she as good as fastened the chains around their necks. Aye, which is why I mean to conclude this business with Tsuya first. Out of the sight of my countrymen, will you help me? We are at your service. There is no higher purpose than the pursuit of peace. My thanks. The Garleans are on their way, and we must prepare to welcome the ambassador. We will meet you at the docks with Tsuya. Well, that's good that you're doing well there, North. This week's competitive for Guardian games is going to be a real high score. Oh, it's basically decided already. Mathematically, it's already basically uh, Warlocks who've won the Guardian games. Um, if Titans took today and every other day, they could tie Warlocks, but Warlocks have it. But the score on the Guardian Games competitive for this week is going to be around 8 to 900,000. So me and Rock are going to have some work we're going to have to do to try and make sure that we once again this week get in the top 10%. Shall we wait here then? Lord Heen should not be long. My friends, have you seen Suya? She's nowhere to be found. What? But the guards will be landing in a matter of moments. If she's fled, could it mean her memories have returned? I know not. Yugiri is scouring the streets as we speak. But it's possible Suya has left the Enclave altogether. Captain, word, did you perchance carry a fair-skinned woman across the river? Fair-skinned woman, my lord? I do not rightly know. I think yes, yes, my lord. Now you mentioned there was a lady among the passers whom I do not recall having seen before. Her face was hidden by the brim of her hat, but I remember taking her hand to help her onto the boat. White as new-fallen snow it was. Was she someone important, my lord? Have I done something wrong? Wrong? No, no. I was merely hoping to catch our guest before she departed. Be at ease, Captain. 'Twould seem that Suya has crossed the river. Kami, help me. No good can come of this. No. But I'm predicting like next year will be Titans. Year after that will be Hunters, and then Warlocks. It's just going to keep going back and forth every year. And the main reason for that is because they keep trying to do things to try and balance out the amount of people who play a particular class. Uh, and I mean, it just doesn't really work. Those faces betrays little sign of panic. Heen is plainly desperate to find Yatsuo before something terrible happens. It seems Suyu has gone unrecognized thus far, but Kami helps us if someone catches a clear view of her face. I must find her before that happens. The responsibility for disappearance for all this lies with me, but I'd ask for your aid nonetheless. We are at your service, Lord Heen. Now as before, let us make the crossing and begin our search. You go on ahead. Someone should let you Gary know what we've learned. I'll join you on the other side. We have no way of knowing where Suya is headed, so we had best divide our forces. I will take Kusakari and its surrounds. Alphino, if you would take the road to Castrum Fluminus. Illusion, forgive me, but could you? I ask you to interrogate the residents of Yuzuka Manor. One of the Namazu may well have seen our quarry. If everyone is in agreement, let us board the skiff and hope the kami smile upon our efforts. Welcome to Yuzuka Manor. Yes, yes. If there's anything you care to know, you need only a pale-scaled woman. I have seen no such traveler. I am sorry to say. Most sorely, scaly-skinned Namazu, on the other hand, we have in abundance. Unusually pale skin? Yes, yes. I saw this woman on the way back from my fishing trip. She had just crossed the shallows east of here and was headed in the northeasterly direction. For the most part, her steps did not seem certain. If you hurry, you might still catch her. I gotta go across the river. You see no sign of Yatsuo to the north. Perhaps she's somewhere farther off to the northeast. What do we find here? Still no sign. Still nowhere to be found. Well, yeah. Last year they turned off any uh, any kind of score correction to try and make up for the overwhelming majority of players that play Hunter, and so that's why Hunters just basically won it like hands down. Not even. I think I think Titans took it one day, and that was pretty much like it. So it was basically just a who was going to take second. For you ask, our search of Kusakari and its surroundings has yielded exactly naught. Save this chance for union with you, I suppose. Mr. Salsay has gone to assist her brother at the cast room. It was she who informed me of the situation. I joined Lord Heen here shortly thereafter. How did you fare at Yuzuka Manor? Any sign of our missing guest? Towards Namai, by the comment, if the villagers recognize her, it will not end well. We must hurry. Gary and I will check the paddles. The village square is yours. Or the patties. The village itself is yours. But I mean, it's only the third year, really, of Guardian games in its current incarnation. So, I mean, where they're actually trying to make an actual game out of it. Superstitious lot, aren't they? I'd say generally you're going to have Titans winning that. I mean, I need to actually figure out how to jump on my Warlock. Would it truly be justice to punish someone for something that they'd have no knowledge or understanding of why they're being punished for? Heen's face is a picture of relief. That would have been better avoided, but at least it did not end in bloodshed. And judging by Yu's reaction, she remains oblivious to the events of her former life. This was no escape attempt. Nay, it seems it was an offhand request of Gosetsu's, which brought her to Namai, which came in search of a persimmon. Ah, and they say fruit is good for the health. I do hope Gosetsu finds the taste to his liking. Well, I was certainly taking the long way around, but let us continue on to Castor Fluminus and our meeting with the ambassador. Alphino and Alice should still be there, conducting their research. But I mean, that's the main reason I don't play Titan or Warlock, is because A, I don't care for floaty jumps like they both have, and Warlock especially, I can't really get very far off the ground at all, which makes a lot of the oh, what is the word I'm looking for? Platforming sections on some of the harder content damn near impossible for me. Oh, she showed up. Um, well, I'll have to watch for the fate to spawn. I mean, change of pace is nice and all, but I'd much rather continue playing something that I'm proficient in, I should say. It seems our imperial guests have already arrived. 'Tis time to meet with the ambassador. Never got an announcement that said the battle was ready. Oh, this isn't going to be good. That's so. And what if I have something to say about that? I knew better than to trust the Sahib, but that was a dirty trick. Still, unpleasant as it was, we have at least put the matter of Suyu's future to rest. I've sent her back to the Enclave with Ugiri to give Gosetsu his precious persimmon. Come, let us follow them. You have that look, Alphino. What is it? Oh, nothing of consequence. Most likely we can discuss it upon our return. We should pay a visit to Gosetsu and reassure him about Suyu's fate. He'll want to know that the Empire has finally relinquished its claim on her. Good, I don't like him either. Oh, that can't be good. Well, yeah, because you're going to do it anyways. Might as well. Wow, what great parents. Jesus Christ. Someone stabbed Bastard in the neck. Please, Yatsuo, do it for us. Good. Very good. Tough luck. Oh. We have recovered the Naris remains and will hold the cremation anon. Would that they had never again set foot in Doma. I broke the news to Gosetsu himself. He was quiet. I think it best that he be allowed some time alone with his thoughts. Lord Heen seems keen to take stock of the situation. So, my friends, that which we feared has come to pass. Yatsua has regained her memory and returned to the Imperial fold. It is by any measure a cruel twist, not least for Gosetsu, but one which does not invalidate our agreement. According to the terms of the contract, we were bound to surrender Yatsuo into the Garlean's hands should her condition improve, prior to the hour of the exchange. By that reckoning, all is, if not as it should be, then as it must be. This I can accept. But what I cannot accept are the unconscionable lengths to which Asahi went to achieve this outcome. Given his recent conduct and his apparent admiration for Xenos, it is plain that he cannot be trusted, and that is to say nothing of the unexplained containers he insists on bringing to our meetings. Whatever the ambassador is planning, I think it unlikely our negotiations will end peacefully. In the event of hostilities, the safety of the conscripts must be our first concern. As such, I would have an escape route in place before the meeting begins. A wise precaution. If the main structure of Castrum Fluminis is to be the stage for the exchange, then I believe a thorough inspection is in order. The citadel has stood empty ever since the Imperial withdrawal. While we took steps to ensure that it could not be defended by an occupying force, it is entirely possible that the ambassador has arranged things there to his advantage. I will slip inside and make certain we have an unobstructed exit. Pray allow me to join you. I have some experience of Imperial facilities, and should matters take a turn for the worse, I would hope to be of at least some use. Alphino, you're never of use. Very good. That should be enough to guarantee us a way out of the castrum. Beyond that, however, we will need a ship to ferry the conscripts back to the Enclave. Even with every skiff we have, it would take several trips to evacuate everyone. A Confederate Sekiboon, on the other hand, would require only a single run, and leave us far less vulnerable on the water. Assuming, of course, Rasho can be convinced to part with one. Why take the lead on this? I've had dealings with Rasho and his pirates before. And I won't be alone, will I? No, I guess I'll be going. Whether I like it or not, I'm going. Much appreciated. I quite fancy parlaying with pirates again. It's just a shame Lise won't be there to reprise her role. I am certain you would make a persuasive pair. But I think I will accompany you to these negotiations all the same. My lord, the ruler of Doma should not be seen consorting with common brigands. Come now, Yukiri. They stood with us against the Empire. If we would ask their aid once more, we must retreat with them as equals. My presence shall serve to demonstrate our sincerity. Indeed, my lord, pray forgive my presumption. By your leave, Master Alphino, and I shall be about our task. And we should be on our way to Onokoro. Time is short, and Rasho may take some convincing. Teleport to Onokoro. Now there's a face I did not expect to see. What brings the noble lord of Doma into the company of bilge-rats such as we? If you've come to offer dome and chains in place of Garlean's ones, then I'm afraid you've wasted a trip. What fun subjects you would make. With your fleet at our disposal, our restorations would be hastened tenfold. But at least let us speak seriously. I stand before you not to demand your fealty, but to request your aid once more. Mayhap you are confused. Doma's liberation was but a means to an end. We aided you only to save ourselves. Now we have no such incentive. We have sworn no oath to you, and will not come running like hounds at their master's whistle. And I would not presume you to treat you thus. I come to petition your cooperation as as an ally of equal standing. Equal standing, you say? Seems a bit lopsided to me. Where's the profit for us in all this? Profit, unless you always think in such short-sighted terms? Have you ever heard of doing the right thing? Have you ever heard of pirates, little miss? You'll find we're simply souls. We're simple souls. You pay our tithe, you sail in peace, deny us our due, and we take it by force. We'll pull you out of the water if we see you drowning, but we're not in the business of doing something for nothing. Calm yourself, Mr. Salisay. We not come here to moralize, we came here to talk, and there is more to be said. According to records recovered after the liberation, relatives of your Doman-born brethren were among those conscripted into the Imperial Army, and as you may be aware, we recently negotiated the return of said conscripts. Many, alas, will arrive to find no families waiting for them, no homes to grant them shelter. I would ask that you offer them a place in the Confederacy. You would not be rescuing strangers, but welcoming brothers and sisters into your ranks. And has not the Confederacy been in need of new recruits? You seem well informed of our affairs, Lord Heen. The losses we suffered at the Garling's hands are no secret, but since we drove them out of Doma, the Ruby Sea has come alive with traders and travelers. So many vessels to tax, so few pirates to tax them. We could do with some more hands on deck, and doubly so if they're familiar with the inner workings of the Empire. Very well, the Confederacy agrees to your request. You will have your ship. But, before that, you must do something for me. The vessel I have in mind was damaged during your battle with the Empire. Though we have mended her, she has yet to be declared seaworthy. She is sound enough down below, but when you load her up with conscripts and the waterline rises, those upper planks had best be free of cracks. Assuming you want your people to stay dry, you'll do me the favor of swimming around the hull to check for weaknesses. That is, if Doman lords are not averse to getting their robes wet. Not this Doman lord. If we each inspect a third of the ship, it shall be done in a trice. That is the spirit. The ship is moored at Quick Escape Pier. Our apprentice shipwright will be on deck to hear your report. Look for a lad named Ihanashi. And I thought I had a knack for parleying with pirates. For the record, my previous stint was an unmitigated success, and yes, I should have quit while I was ahead. Well, well, I thought the rumors exaggerated, but the young lord lives up to his reputation. Nothing wrong there. Small crack in this one. Hey, you got issues. I am the shipwright, apprentice shipwright. Did you find anything that might need attention? The section I inspected seemed solid enough. On the port side near the bow, you say. All right, I'll have a look and see what I can do. My apologies, I seem to have lagged behind. I could float in that gentle sea all day. Otherwise, I'm happy to report no visible cracking or holes in my section of the hull. You're Lord Heen. The captain sent you to inspect the hull. Kami have mercy, forgive us this discourtesy, my lord. It is quite all right. In fact, I rather enjoyed it. I take it you are of Doma. Yes, my lord. The Imperials took my father away after the uprising, and I had nowhere else to turn. The Confederacy became my family. But someone told me they're releasing the conscripts now. Maybe my father will be among them. Not that I can go back. There's no leaving once you've joined. How fair is our lady? Is she seaworthy? Captain, we found a small crack in the port side, but I'll have it fixed before you know it. I see, you have met the boy. Did he tell you his story? He babbles when he is nervous. Should his father be among the conscripts as he hopes, I mean to give him the choice to leave this life. If he so chooses, I expect you to see they are provided for. I have heard that those who join the Confederacy forswear all ties with kin and homeland. Is that oath so easily put aside? If I allow it, I see in him the lad I was 25 years ago. You say the words, you mean them, but the yearning for home still lingers. My family is long dead, and I know this life is my lot, but he has scarce dipped his toes with us. If there's life for him in Doma, he should have the chance to live it. Well said. The Empire's conquest has uprooted many and more. Be it in Ningxia or out on the Ruby Sea, we have a duty to ensure that Ionashi and others like him are free to dwell with where they desire. Then the matter settled, I will make preparations to cast off. Well, my friends, it seems we have our ship. Let us return to the Enclave. Lord Heen is expecting you. May I show you in? Yeah. It seems Ugiri and Alphino completed their task before us. They have been waiting. We scouted the structure and determined the swiftest path to safety. In the event of hostilities, we will lead the conscripts outside with all possible haste. From there, the Confederacy has pledged a ship to ferry us across the One River. Now we have but to attend the exchange and pray to the Kami these precautions were unnecessary. Yeah, but they probably are. Heen is ready to proceed with the prisoner exchange. While we're putting our contingency plans in place, I left Hikaru in charge of organizing transport for the Imperial prisoners. He will see they arrive at the appointed hour, leaving us free to rendezvous with our Confederate allies. Come, they wait us on the riverbank, not far from the castrum. Yeah, it's above me. Your party is assembled then. Aye, and ready for what lies ahead, I trust. Lest there be any confusion, though, the tower across the water is to be the scene of the exchange, that and whatever else Sahi has planned. But regardless of the ambassador's intentions, we will bring our people home. Yugiri, you are to evacuate the conscripts at the first sign of trouble. Yes, my lord. We, meanwhile, shall cover their escape and lend what support we can. Your ship awaits you at the Catherine's loading dock. She will see you safely home. Then all stand ready to play their part. Let's be about it. Peaceful coexistence, my ass. Yeah, we were. Great. He is way too happy about this. Yeah, I think that's what she's doing. Good. That's a smart play. Not bad, eliminated rum. Well, well, well. should go get one of the things. One of the journals. And then in the meantime, let us go back to let's see, what am I working on? Looks like I am working on thaumaturge. God damn it. And let's see. Well, shit. Come on. There we go. Ah, I didn't get out there in time. She is a cool looking boss, though. The Streamlabs is dropping frames. Fear I may be overtaxing my computer. Shooting your own damn sister. God, no wonder she was such an evil bitch. Little insane, are we? Yatsuo deserved better. Both before she got to the point of being the evil bitch she was, and afterwards. Well, that's good. Doesn't mean we wanted you to be. Can only hope. Good. Let him. Her clothes and hair changed again. Yep, we did. No, we wish. Yeah, you're not wrong. Go try and actually make us proud. You're not going to succeed, but you can at least try. I knew Asahi was planning some manner of treachery, but a summoning? Thank the kami you were here, my friend. None of us would have escaped Yatsua's vengeance had you not intervened. She was a pawn, aye, but she still had a choice, and she chose to submit to the ambassador's plan. 'Tis little wonder Gosetsu departed in silence. I gather he left the same way he came, alone aboard a rowing boat. As for the conscripts, most made to the Sekibun before the battle began in earnest, but the vessel yet waits on the riverbank for those who did not flee in time. Then I suggest we put this doleful place behind us and make for the Enclave together. 'Twould be a shame to miss the joyous reunion. So from samurai to monk? Safe travels, Gosetsu. Go try to make the world a better place. Well, then, I wish you luck in all the things that you will go and do. Ah, Gosetsu, fair journey to you, my friend. A bittersweet occasion, but there is yet ample cause to be grateful. Pray join us in the Keen I would thank you properly. Our brothers and sisters are returned to us, and the dream of Doma's restoration is that much closer to being realized. It is a day that will live long in memory, and one that would never have dawned without the courageous actions of the Scions. On behalf of Doma and her people, we give you our deepest thanks. Lest you think me complacent, I assure you I have not forgotten the dark cloud on the horizon. That Xenos lives is a source of grave concern. Mayhap the gravest yet, there is little to be done but wait for Alphino to send word. Until then, I plan to devote myself to fulfilling the promise I made to Gosetsu by building a nation which none need live in fear. Sigh, I confess I miss him already, but the thought that he has at last found peace goes some way to softening the blow. I wonder, did you ever stop to ask yourself why he showed Yatsuo such kindness? I believe the answer lies in past tragedy, specifically the death of his wife and daughter during the invasion. Though he hid it well, they were never far from his thoughts, and in Yatsuo's childlike mien, I believe he saw not a fallen tyrant, but the little girl who was lost to him. After the loss of his family, Gosetsu devoted himself wholly to the service Of his country, he suffered any hardship, strove beyond the limits of endurance without hesitation or complaint. Though Sia could never truly replace his daughter, I had hoped that with her at his side he might live out the remainder of his days in relative contentment. Would that the kami had been so minded. Even now I labor to discern any meaning in Yatsu's fate. To deliver her from certain death with no memory of her sins, only to leave her at the mercy of her stepbrother? Can that truly have been their will? That I cannot tell you. The will of the kami is not for us to know. But what I do know is that for a brief moment, a girl known as Suya lived among us, and she brought with her a whisper of respite for a grieving heart. Under the moonlight, Alice seems ready to bid farewell to Doma. I think it's time we were going, don't you? We've done all we can here, and we have a lot to report. Before we head back to the Rising Stones, let's call in at Ralgar's Reach. We should be the ones to tell Lisa about Xenos. After everything we went through and together, we owe her that. I should probably also spend. I'm not. I don't have to, but I probably should. Um, do not have enough room for boots. Return to inventory. Equip. There. Illusion, Alice, say you're back. No Alpha, no? It's good to see you, Lisa. As for my headstrong brother, he's off on what will almost certainly turn out to be a once-in-a-lifetime trip to Garlemald. It's a long story, but we have evidence that Xenos might still be alive. What? But that's... If that is... This is a joke, gods, this had better be a joke. Look, I know what I saw, all right? We all saw it. And here you are saying he's alive and well, living the high life back in Garlemald? I know how ludicrous this sounds. I'm still having difficulty believing it myself. But while I might doubt the word of an Imperial envoy, I'm inclined to trust illusions. She saw the Crown Prince through the Echo in a meeting that could only have taken place in the recent past. It was him. It was Xenos. I need... No, it must have been, I don't know, some kind of really convincing imposter? Xenos is dead. He had a great big hole in his neck. We buried him. Aye, and someone went to the trouble of desecrating the bastard's grave, remember? Those gilded halls, whatever are you talking about? Thancred, what brings you to the Reach? Alphino has been lending a hand to the Sultry, keeping an eye on the rebuilding work and so on. Just until operations were up and running, and now that they are, I thought I might look in on you before wending off my weary way back to headquarters. Forgive me if I misheard, but is there some suggestion the late Crown Prince could have gotten better? If so, might I suggest a quick look inside his coffin as our first order of business? As much as I hate the man, it doesn't feel right defiling his grave. But if we'll put this rumor to rest, I suppose we have to. And when there are no curious eyes about if we can manage it. Xenos is buried up at Bloodhollow in the locks. His grave was set apart from the others and left unmarked, so as not to upset the locals. Then it shouldn't be too hard to find Nago. You're in charge until I get back. Hmm. Okay. This is it. Gods, he'd better be in there. Someone scrawled all over the stone a while ago, but I had scrubbed off and thought no more about it. So no one thought to check if the coffin was still occupied? Well, then we were presented with but one course of action. We best be sure we are not observed in the doing of it. Shall we begin? Oh, that would be disturbing. If there's no corpse, then we are to conclude the rumors are true. Not necessarily. We might still be dealing with a doppelganger of some kind. An agent could have been sent to dispose of the body and bid to lead credence to the tale of Xenos' resurrection. More and more, however, I find myself siding with Alphino's theory of Ossian possession. Speaking from experience, I can tell you they have no qualms about taking a living host, let alone a dead one. You're saying an Ossian is walking around in Xenos' body? It seems a distinct possibility. Once I put this grave back the way we found it, I shall pay a visit to the people responsible for interring the Crown Prince. Before leaping to any conclusions, I want to know for sure if a body was ever buried here, and how certain we are that Xenos was properly dead. If he wasn't, that was some trick. He was as good as cut his own head off. Any Raban needs to hear about this. If you find anything else, send word to me at Rogar's Reach. I don't know why I'm surprised with matters settling down in Doma. We are due another crisis. Shall we make for the Rising Stones then? It's past time we shared these developments with the others. While I was waiting for you to arrive, I spoke with Ernje over LinkPro and gave him a full report. Ishula is on her way and should be here any. Ah! Alice, Illusion, 'tis good to see you safe and well. What news have you from the east? Disturbing developments indeed. Given all that we know, I too would conclude that Nasia now inhabits Xenos' body. A doppelganger might fool the Crown Prince's subordinates, but Illusion, nay, Alphino had the right of it. Would that his wisdom extend to the question of his own safety. Capable though he has become, he ventures alone into the enemy's stronghold, and the shadowy web of the Paragons like as not. When it comes to making rash decisions, I'm hardly in a position to criticize, but I'm worried. I just wish there was something I could do for him besides pray. We cannot suffer icons to exist. Was I not clear on this point? More than clear. The icon in question was summarily dispatched by the Warrior of Light. The summoner is dead, and the right beyond repeating. Everything proceeded according to plan, every party behaving exactly as required. My methods may seem extreme, but there is no cause for concern. I work only to ensure the salvation of this star. What are you doing here fiddling with that thing? I asked you a question, soldier. What are you? Have you lost your mind? Ah! I have lost many things, but my mind is yet my own. There upon the stage I stood, prepared to take my final bow, only to find that the finale has but an intermission was but an intermission. Shall I use this chance to repent for my sins? Embrace goodness and mediocrity? Nay, I think not. While the one I yearn to face yet lives, the hunt must go on. So, judging by what he said, it should be someone I should probably recognize, but I just not. Emissary of the Dawn. With thoughts of Alphino's plight weighing heavy on her mind, Alice might welcome some company. It's been an eventful few days, hasn't it? But I suppose all we can do now is wait for word from Alphino. I don't recall the last time I had nothing progressing to be getting on with. Should I make the most of it? Shall I put on some tea? Tea would be lovely. You may regale me with the tale of your adventures in the Far East, and of your encounter with this new primal especially. I'll put the kettle on then. The table looks free if you'd like to take a seat. Yeah, we got time. Interesting. So this Sukuyomi was summoned in much the same manner as Susano, via the medium of a sacred relic. That's right, they believe their gods are, or kami, reside in physical objects. Given the danger they represent, it may behoove us to begin a catalogue with such relics. But if we are to contain the threat, we will require a better understanding of the summoning method itself. I believe I shall pay a visit to Doma and learn what I can on the subject. A fine idea, and I know for a fact that our friends in Doma would be grateful for any information which could help to prevent further summoning in the region. I will pen you a letter of introduction. Lord Heen will wish to welcome our resident expert on aetherology. Greetings. Could it be that I'm in time for tea? It certainly looks that way. Come on, sit down and tell us how your investigations went. After you left, I went about questioning Bloodhouse gravekeepers. They all told much the same story. Once police and their officers had confirmed Zeno's dead, his corpse was interred under strict supervision. There seems little reason to doubt their testimony on that point. But when I mentioned the defacement of Xenos' grave, accounts grew rather more vague. None reported having seen any suspicious persons in the vicinity, and all assumed the act to have been perpetuated by eventual Alamegan. Crucially, however, Azul confirmed that when the offending scroll was removed, as per Lisa's instruction, no one involved thought to check the contents of the coffin. By that stage, it is likely that the corpse was already missing. Assuming Xenos was not in fact risen from the dead, we're left with two possibilities. Either the body was disposed of to lend credence to the claims of an extremely committed impostor, or an Ascian has taken up residence within him. If Asahi was as fervent a devotee as you believe, he would not have been fooled by an impersonation. However committed, we must assume that we are dealing with an Ascian and proceed accordingly. Agreed. The question is, how many more such monsters are waiting for Alphino and Garlemald? Their presence was his chief reason for going. He understood the risks. I only hope he did not underestimate the extent of the infestation. Meanwhile, the Imperial Hypersonic Assault Craft, LXXV, what is that? 75? Master Alphino, we are making good speed towards our destination. Is aught amiss? Nay, 'tis just I can not see naught from my cabin. Was curious to know the land over which we flew. Ah, I am afraid our military craft are built with little thought for such niceties. I am happy to indulge your curiosity. However, we are presently passing over the burn on the western edge of Othard. Even with the benefit of a porthole, your gaze would have been greeted with naught but malms upon malms of lifeless earth. I have read something of the burn. It was described as a desolate wasteland, bled dry of every last drop of aether. Aye, it is believed that a succession of icons summonings was responsible. When Emperor Solus first came to Othard and beheld this beheld this plight, he is said to have reeled at the scale of the devastation. He declared icons a threat to our very star's existence, and issued an empire-wide decree ordering the eradication of all such entities. Oh, that can't be good. Report! We're under attack, sir. Magitek armor. No visible designation. Magitek, but who? Ah! All cannons return fire. Damage report. The main reactor's been hit. Helm unresponsive. We're going down, sir. Damn it, they knew exactly where to hit us. All hands brace for impact. Glad to have you back, Master Alphino. We have landed in one piece, more or less. But the air filtration system is damaged and the ship is filling with smoke. We must gather the survivors and get out while we still can. Aye, aye. Yep, desert. It's caught on what? What the fuck can your leg possibly be stuck in, or on, or under? Yes, you very likely saved his life. The question of who would try to make a ticket remains to be seen. Put these last few out of their misery. The prince was there's none left alive. The prince? They've not come to parley. I fear ready your weapons. Confound it. Not here, not like this. What? Who in the Emperor's name? Enemies of our enemies' introductions can wait. You are calm in a crisis, Master Alphino. Let us finish this then. My thanks, your intervention proved most timely. Well, well, I did not think to meet an Eorzean in this place, let alone a scion. You know of me, sir. I have some small history with your order. But I would speak of the present. Know you your assailants and the severity of your predicament? The soldiers bore the insignia of the Emperor's personal guard, and I could venture a guess as to their motives, but you yet have us at a disadvantage, sir. Do you not tell us who they are, or who you are? Our names are not yours for the asking, and as for our purpose, let this be your answer. An Asian mask? The face of our prey. We must wait before more arrive. Come with us or stay, but make your choice now. Even should we manage the long trek out of the burn and secure passage to the capital, we would no doubt be greeted by the Emperor's guard. Indeed, we must accept your gracious offer. Shadowhunter will suffice for the present. Come. And that was your clue as to who it was. This is intolerable. As much as I wish it were otherwise, there is nothing we can do for Elfno now but pray for his success. Well, that is not entirely true. While your brother journeys to Garlemald from the east, I could make my way there from Alamigo and find out what there is to be learned in the Empire's western provinces. Now I'm coming with you. I can't very well sit here sipping tea if there's action to be taken. Forgive me, LSA, but the provinces are hostile territory and stealth is all important. It is safer that I go alone. I can sneak well enough when the situation demands it. Don't patronize me. I'll go with them. And how exactly would that be any better? I must refuse your company as well, my friend. Formidable though you are, the success of my mission depends on moving unnoticed. And lest you forget, you have grown rather famous. I trust you understand. Fine, just promise you'll be careful. It seems that praying is to be the extent of my contribution after all. but I will stay behind as I have been bid. We all have our talents. Mine just happens to involve a silver tongue and soft souls. I promise to send word when the moment I learn aught of consequence. See that you notify me too. I mean to depart from Doma as soon as I find suitable Isolnard vessel to bear me thither, but I shall return if I am needed. Be sure to drop in whenever you're next in the area. Then in luck, I'll have painfully detailed report from Alphino to share. Okay, and that was the 4.3 patch. So let's see, we've got like 10 minutes. Let's do a roulette. Excuse me. Well, actually, I probably should, because it's just about time for the queue's going to pop here in just a moment. Queue should be about ready to pop. Well, actually, no, we don't have. It's it's ending time. So, yeah. There we go. Let's take a look and see who's out there. Nah, we're not going to raid. We're just going to call it here. We'll be back tomorrow night.